guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing part 2 of my first tutorial, which I will link in the description. So today we're going to be focusing a lot on the buttons themselves. We're going to start a continue project and we will work from there. So we'll work on buttons, a pause menu, as well as options. Alright, sorry about that, I just knocked my head. Alright, so let me get started with the project and I'll be right back. Alright guys, and we're back. So we are creating a new project. I'm just going to use third-person template, doesn't matter what you use. I am going to use maximum quality and target is console and desktop. Also we're working in Blueprint and the engine version is 4.7.6. Alright, so let's create the project and then we go from there. Alright, now that we're back in here, this is the third person template. So quite simple, just gonna fly around a little bit. Pretty big box. This is going to be called the main level. As you can see, it is in the maps, third person example map. Alright, so now we will be doing also level select kind of situation where everything, you can select the level that you want to play, or maybe even a saved game. Maybe we can make that part 3, but let's see what this is. The standard third person tutorial, not tutorial, example. So that you can run around, you can jump, and that's pretty much it. Movement is a little bit jerky because the animations are not right, but that's a whole different, that's not any of your fault. Alright, so movement around, jumping, running, and climbing, walking, everything you can do, we'll just keep that functionality there. Alright, now what we're going to do from here on is we are going to create a new level. Let's make it a 3D kind of level, so we can make a new level with yeah, that should be fine. It's a new level with the arrow facing out. Fantastic. Then we're going to add some, let's go to starter content and add a little bit of props. These are not very important. This is just to add function, not functionality, it's just to add looks. There we go. A lamp would be here. Sorry guys, I'm doing this on a much smaller screen than I usually am, so yeah, the lamp will be fine. Alright, and then let's add this cube thing. Alright, now that we know what the level looks like, let's firstly press play. Okay, but now the problem here is the fact that we don't want to have player spawn into the level as a menu in my example. Alright, so now the game mode override is none. Alright, so that means I can change the game yeah, right, so I'm gonna say game mode. Alright, since we can't change it, we're gonna go create a new folder in the root called Blueprints. Save. Alright, Blueprints. Alright, then we're gonna add a Blueprint class, a game mode. So this is now main new game mode. Right, now save in the map. Oh, I'm gonna save everything in the root for now. So this is gonna be called main menu level. Alright, so now that it's saved, we can now change the game mode here to main menu game mode. Pawn is none. HUD, we'll keep it HUD. Player controller is player controller, and game state is game state. The most important part is the default pawn class. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. Alright, so the most important part is this default pawn class to be none. So if we press play, as you can see, I do not have any mouse control. I cannot move around, and that is perfect. For some reason it keeps on going to the middle of the stage. Let's do that. Oh, maybe character. No. Let's try that. Okay. But we will change the fact that there is no gravity here. So physics conditions none. Override global gravity, and that's it. Now save this. Let's try it again. There we go, perfect. Now let's move the character inwards. Alright, so that is our menu setup. That's what it's going to look like. So now, here, I'll make in the contents folder, new folder, UGM. UGM stands for Unreal Motion Graphics. It is the way that all buttons, text, and anything UI based or user interface based is worked with in Unreal Engine 4. So next thing we're going to make is right click on the folder, go to user interface, widget blueprint. This we can call main menu. Save. Next, another one. Just copy this one. For some reason I just copied that in the scene. Control C, Control V. That doesn't work. Duplicate that. Alright, this will be options. Oh, sorry. Save again, and then duplicate again, and call it. You can call this one in-game menu. In-game menu. Alright, so let's start with the main menu. Alright, so this window is actually a preview of what your window will look like. So I'm going to change my preview to a 20-inch monitor, because that is what I'm recording on. So this is now a 1:1 scale, as you can see there, 1:1. So it's pretty big. I'm going to change this to be a bit bigger, and then we can work with it. Alright, so let's start. So first things first. On the palette you have common, input, it's all the different essentially widgets that you can add. So for example, what we're going to do first is we are going to add there's a canvas panel already added which we need. So then in panels you're going to look for a vertical box. You're going to add that vertical box to the panels. Alright, now this flower thing, it's called an anchor. Alright, so anchors are like, no, anchors, so they hold your placement or your box in place. So for example, right now I'm trying to move my box about 100 pixels to the right, and let's say, sorry about that, and let's say, oops, let's say 400, because it's a bit, 600 is a bit too much, so 400, there we go, perfect. Now what we're going to do is we are going to expand it to be a bit bigger, and kind of like that, and this way a little bit, there we go. Now we can round these these off, so minus, let's say 450, and 100 is still fine, but let's change that to 50. There we go, perfect. Now size, we can go to 400 by 400. Alright, now this vertical box is will be it's actually a main menu button folder. Alright, so this box will actually just hold our buttons that we use. Alright, so now let's add some buttons to the menu. So we need a button for new game, level select, options, and quit. Alright, now let's change these up a little bit and start. So we'll add about 50. No, it's a bit too much. Let's do 20, maybe 30. 30, that's perfect. Alright, so we're going to go for 30 and work from there. Alright, so style, you can change these. So if you're hovering, for example, you can change the tint to be purple or whatever, pink. Normal, we can make it red. So every time you hover over the button, it will go into pink. And every time you press it, it will go yellow. Alright, so next, sounds you can add here as well. So now we can go from there. Alright, so button 1, let's work from that. So the first thing we do is we rename the button to be, in my natural naming convention would be B for button underscore and what it does. So the function, so new game, just like that. Alright, second one would be B underscore level select. Oops, okay. B underscore what was this one? Options, and this is B underscore quit. Alright, now that is quit, well, now all the buttons are named, what we can do is we can go back up to common and add text to them so that the player actually knows what the text is. So here, for example, it will be T, new game. Okay, now the important part is to change this text value here, the content, under the contents section. So here it will be new game. You can also bind it, so for example, you can do a check where you can say, does the saved game exist? And if it does exist, then you can say, instead of new game, you can say continue game. And then you can add a branch when clicking that if that saved game exists, then if true, you, instead of starting a new game, you just load your save state, or if it doesn't, then you would start a new game. Alright, so that is new game covered. Next would be text. Let's go copy, paste, paste, paste. Alright, now all we have to do is change the values here. So this is now T level select, not level, sheesh, save, and then just change this as well to level select. Done. This is now T options, and T quit. Alright guys, I know this tutorial might be a little bit slow, but it is, I'm going to cover everything in a lot of detail. Alright, so if now I compile and save everything, what we're going to do is, this is going to be the main menu. So in order, because now if we launch, nothing happens, correct? So in order for us to get an actual menu, in this case, usually I create a class, a blueprint class that allows me to just drop right into the level. But for now, we're just going to use the level blueprint. So open the level blueprint and then say at begin play. Talk all these comments, I don't care. Okay, event tick we don't need. Right, so at begin play, what we're going to do is we are going to drag a new node off. Okay, then we're going to create a widget. Okay, so what this create widget does is it takes whatever the class you have selected, and then it will create the widget in the level as an object. Now the problem with this is the fact that the object is not yet visible. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the return value out and go from there, saying add to viewport. Alright, so viewport is your player's screen. If you ever want to get, for example, how big a player's screen is, you can right click and then say get viewport size, and then that will give you an XY value or a 2D vector, an X and Y value in your screen, in the player's screen's pixels. Alright, or the game's pixels. The game screen. Alright, so now that we've added it to viewport, we can continue, compile, and save. Now if I say play, you'll see now there is a menu, but no mouse. So next thing that we're going to have to do, go back to the level blueprint. We're going to say, after adding to viewport, we're going to say get player controller. Right click and then type in get player controller. That gets the player controller of the current level. So you're going to save again. Always save, because 4.7 crashes quite a bit. Alright, so after getting the player controller, we're going to say mouse enabled. Okay, so I just don't remember. I do not remember the mouse reference. So it's in show mouse cursor. There we go. Show mouse cursor. So we're going to set the show mouse cursor to true, because we are in the menu here. So we're going to show this we're going to set the show mouse cursor to true. Save, and let's try again. Alright, so now the game is running, and I'll show you just in a small scale so you guys can still see the debug info. I now have a mouse, and if I hover over new game, it turns pink, little select turns pink, options turns pink, and quit turns pink. Now if I click them, nothing happens, but they do change color. Right, so now you're going to know at least which color does what. Alright, so this is now our main menu. You can add a title here, or anywhere you like, wherever. You can add a title by simply going back here, adding a text or even an image, and going from there. Alright, now what happens when we press new game? Okay, let me just fix all of this. Pressed. Just quickly change this tint again to yellow. Okay, so just checking that everything is working. Alright, so on new game, if you scroll down in the details panel, you'll see there's an event for onClicked. So what happens, basically what the game is now asking you is what happens when you click new game. So on new game, what we want to do is we want to load the third person. We want to load the third person template. So what we're going to do is we're going to say open level. Alright, so you're going to open the level. Now the level name can be a variable here. So if I say variable, level name to open. Right, now level name takes a name. Right, so the type, there's the details panel, so I was looking for that. So name, the type is a name. So first things first, when you click on new game, here for example we can have a check. So I'm going to do this as a fake one until I do a tutorial on this properly. So true, false. Alright, so now what happens here is you can have does save game exist, so it follows that and goes through the branch. So the slot name would be what your save game is called. So if you say slot game, slot name as main game, so we can do that for now, main game, then the return value is the condition for the branch. So if the main game does exist, okay, it will open the level. Actually, it will not open the level. Actually, it will open the level, and then it will load game from slot, and then the slot name would be main game. Right, so that's how you would load your game as a continue. Then, well, actually we'll keep this for now. Alright, so if false, open level name. Right, let's do this. So now what happens if it does exist, we will set the level name. So if the save game exists, it will still be main game. Right, but this is just for now. Right, so actually no, it will not set it, it will get it, and then it will set it like that. That's what it will do. Sorry. Alright, so that's if the save game does exist. So when it saves, it will set the level name to open to that, and it will open the level and then load the game from slot. Otherwise, what will happen is we will be setting the level name to open. Now, important part is you have to know what the level name is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to third person. We're going to say third person example map. We're going to press F2 or right click, rename, Control C to copy, Command C if you're on Mac. Then you're going to go back here to the main menu, click on set level name to open. You're going to set it to the third person example map. So now that is the simple level. It is this level here. It is this level that will open now. So let's go back to content, main menu. Alright, so if we click that, it will open the level, and then it will remove from parent, which is itself. So the target is widget in this case, which means that it's now trying to remove. Set the save and compile thing. Right, so it will now remove from the viewport. The command used to be removed from viewport. It is now removed from parents. Sorry about the dogs barking. It is my neighbors. Alright, so it will remove it from viewport. Next, after loading the game, it will do the same thing, but we will never be able to load the game because I have not set that up in this tutorial. It's not in the notes so far, but I will be doing another tutorial on saved games. So now we're going to say compile and test out if this button works. So there you go, here's the game. If you click new game, it loads the second level and you can run around. Alright, so basics. That's what it is. This is the basic, simplest way to start a new game with a menu. Alright, now what happens, let's move these things away. Let's go move here. Alright, so now what happens, we're going to save, main menu, so that's looking for. When we press, okay, I will cover level select in another tutorial, otherwise it's going to be a bit long. So, options. What happens when you press options? So now unclicked, what we're going to do is, we are going to create a widget named options. Okay, then we will, sorry, you have to drag it off the blueprint, otherwise it's not here. So now add to viewport, this target. Alright, that will, and then what we're going to do is we're going to remove from parent. You can also just set hidden, but it's a little bit it's a little bit tricky with your main menu. Rather set hidden when you're going into a in-game menu, for example. Alright, so we have now created the options, but there's nothing in the options to do. So that's done. The options button is done. And let's also do an on-clicked event while we're here, on the quit event. So let's scroll down to unclicked. This is simple, quit game. Alright, compile, play. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go, we're going to first try quit, works, play, options, and now we'll have the option screen pop up here. Alright, awesome. I'm going to quickly build the lighting for this scene and I'll be back soon. Guys, after editing the video a little bit, I realized that it's going to take about an hour and a half for you to watch this. So I'm going to edit it a little bit more, and I'm going to upload the whole video in 2 parts. It will be in the same playlist, and they will be uploaded right after each other. So if you do need, if you need to watch the whole video, you can. They'll be uploaded together, like I said. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like and leave a comment if you enjoyed or if this video helped you, and I'll see you soon.